Welcome back, dear Acolyte. I am pleased to see you again. Today we venture into the heart of one of Tamriel's most awe-inspiring legacies, the Dragonborn and their mastery of the Thu'um. This ancient and mystical power, once wielded by the revered Nords, set them apart with an authority that transcended mortal limits. The Dragonborn, a bloodline touched by divine forces, was blessed with the unique ability to command the voice, a force capable of shaping the very fabric of reality. As we unravel their history and explore the profound impact of their gifts, we will uncover the extraordinary essence of what it means to be Dragonborn, a title that signifies not only a powerful heritage, but a profound destiny etched into the annals of Tamriel's grand saga. Join us as we explore the remarkable journey of those who bore this prestigious mantle and the echoes of their deeds that resonate through the ages. The Dragonborn, an enigma that spans centuries, weaving through Tamriel's history with a force both awe-inspiring and terrifying. To understand this unique lineage, we must begin with a clear definition of what it truly means to be Dragonborn. At its core, a Dragonborn is a mortal blessed by the gods, specifically by Akatosh, with the soul and blood of a dragon. It is this divine connection that grants them their extraordinary powers, linking them to one of the most ancient and revered forces in the world, dragons themselves. The origin of the Dragonborn is tightly bound to the dragon blood, the sacred bloodline that traces back to Akatosh, the dragon god of time. It is said that Akatosh, in his infinite wisdom, and through his covenant with mortals, chose certain individuals to carry this blood, gifting them the potential to wield the voice and the power of dragons. This covenant was born out of necessity during Tamriel's most turbulent eras, a divine intervention to ensure the world's balance against the chaos of Alduin, the World Eater. But what does this mean for those chosen by Akatosh? To be Dragonborn is not merely to possess draconic power, it is to be a guardian of the mortal realm, an entity charged with maintaining the delicate equilibrium between the forces of creation and destruction. This role is neither a gift nor a curse. It is a calling, one that often leaves the chosen figure at the center of Tamriel's most defining events. Each Dragonborn is set apart by their ability to speak the language of dragons, an art known as the Thu'um. Their voices carry a unique power, capable of reshaping the very fabric of reality. The relationship between the Dragonborn and the gods, particularly Akatosh, is profound. It is Akatosh's divine blood that pulses through their veins, linking them not just to dragons, but to the wider cosmos. As Akatosh governs time itself, so too does the Dragonborn find themselves intertwined with the cyclical nature of history. Prophecies surround these figures, often marking their coming as signs of great change. For as long as there have been Dragonborn, there have been foretellers, whispering of the times when these beings would rise to either protect or destroy. In essence, the Dragonborn are not just powerful individuals, they are living, breathing instruments of fate. The Thu'um, or the voice, was a power unlike any other in Tamriel, and it was one that set Dragonborn apart from other mortals. The Thu'um allowed its wielder to bend the very air to their will, speaking in the ancient tongue of the dragons to produce effects that defied understanding. For the Dragonborn, this ability was not merely learned, it was an inherent gift, flowing through their bloodline as naturally as breathing. While many mortals could spend years mastering even the most basic of shouts, the Dragonborn could speak the language of the dragons with innate fluency. This ability made them singularly unique. The Thu'um, though ancient, was always more than just words. It was an expression of raw power, tied deeply to the essence of the world itself. By speaking a word of power, a Dragonborn could manifest a wide range of effects, from calling forth violent storms to pushing foes away with force beyond mortal comprehension. Unlike other practitioners, such as the Greybeards, whose connection to the Thu'um came through meditation and years of disciplined study, the Dragonborn needed only to discover the words of power. Once a word was known to them, they could use it with unmatched potency. The distinction was clear. This was not a skill that could be practiced. It was the birthright of the Dragonborn, an echo of their connection to Akatosh and the dragons themselves. But what truly separated a Dragonborn from even the most skilled of tongues was their ability to absorb the very essence of a dragon. When a Dragonborn defeated one of these ancient, fire-breathing beings, they would claim not just victory, but the dragon's soul. This ability to absorb a dragon's soul was nothing short of a profound mystery. To the uninitiated, it might seem like a simple act of dominance over a defeated foe, but this process was something far deeper. With each soul absorbed, the Dragonborn grew stronger, unlocking new words of power and enhancing their mastery of the Thu'um. This act of absorbing souls was what truly set Dragonborn apart, for no other mortals could perform such a feat. The dragons, ageless and powerful, held within them the knowledge of the ancient language, and with each soul taken, that knowledge transferred directly into the Dragonborn. The implications of this power were immense. It gave the Dragonborn the ability to challenge dragons on equal footing, something no ordinary mortal could hope to achieve. And with each dragon they defeated, their power only grew. To understand the significance of this ability is to appreciate the broader role that the Dragonborn played in the eternal balance between the mortal realm and the forces of the divine. Dragons, though fearsome and destructive, were not just creatures of the skies. They were avatars of Akatosh's will, embodiments of time itself. The Dragonborn, in absorbing their souls, did more than gain strength. They played a crucial role in maintaining the balance of power between the forces of chaos and order in Tamriel. This unique gift, both a blessing and a burden, came with responsibilities beyond mere power. Every soul absorbed carried with it a weight of knowledge and understanding, connecting the Dragonborn more deeply to the dragons and, by extension, to the cosmic order of the world. Whether they sought glory, justice, or merely survival, Dragonborn were always more than heroes. They were living proof of the power of Akatosh's design, a bridge between mortals and dragons. While there were others throughout history who claimed mastery over the Thu'um, none could rival the sheer potential of a Dragonborn. Even the Greybeards, revered as they were, could not harness the full power of the Thu'um in the same way. They were limited by their mortal forms, by the slow and arduous path of learning. A Dragonborn, however, stood beyond such limitations. With each shout, they echoed the voices of ancient dragons, and with each soul absorbed, they edged closer to their true destiny. Prophecy has always been at the heart of the Dragonborn's place in Tamriel's history. Throughout the ages, the Dragonborn have been woven into the very fabric of fate, their destinies foretold by the Elder Scrolls themselves, those cryptic texts held in reverence by scholars and priests alike. The scrolls, enigmatic as they are, have long hinted at the significance of these individuals, though they never reveal their mysteries easily. Instead, they offer glimpses, threads of truth scattered across time. One of the most well-known prophecies concerning the Dragonborn is the foretelling of Ulduin's return, recorded in an ancient text from the Nordic culture. It speaks of the World Eater, a great and terrible dragon prophesied to bring about the end of the world, a calamity halted only by the arrival of the Dragonborn. As this prophecy is intertwined with the Elder Scrolls, it affirms that such individuals are not born by accident, but are rather tied to the cycles of time, destruction, and rebirth that govern Nirn itself. Indeed, the arrival of a Dragonborn has often been seen as a harbinger of great change. Some, like Tiber Septim, shaped empires with their presence, while others, like the last Dragonborn, rose in times of existential crisis. Their emergence often coincides with moments of great turmoil, an age collapsing, an empire crumbling, or a darkness rising from the forgotten corners of history. The very blood of Akatosh, which courses through their veins, sets them apart as champions, chosen by the gods to either preserve the balance or topple the status quo. The ancient greybeards, masters of the Thu'um, are among those who hold deep reverence for these individuals, viewing them as the fulfillment of long-awaited signs. As High Hrothgar stands silent, its walls echoing the ancient tones of the voice, these monks seek to understand the significance of each Dragonborn's path. Their devotion is not to mortal kings, but to the very forces of the cosmos that bend to the will of the Dragonborn. Their knowledge is passed down from generation to generation, their wisdom a repository of secrets about the Thu'um, Akatosh, and the prophecies written in the stars. It is important to remember that the prophecies themselves are not fixed, but fluid. The Elder Scrolls, as elusive as they are powerful, depict futures that are always shifting. As the ancient scholar Septimus Signus once noted, the scrolls reveal the future in flashes and glances. One can never see the totality of time. Thus, the role of the Dragonborn is not just to fulfill a static destiny, but to navigate the winding paths of fate, choosing at times to embrace or defy the call of prophecy. What is written is not always what comes to pass, and therein lies the true power of these individuals. In the Empire of Cyrodiil too, prophecy played a central role in understanding the Dragonborn. The Septim Emperors, descendants of Tiber Septim, ruled by virtue of their Dragonborn lineage, with the Amulet of Kings serving as both a symbol and a test of their divine right. It was said that only a true Dragonborn could wear the amulet, binding them to Akatosh and ensuring the safety of Tamriel from the threat of oblivion. Thus, even in the political sphere, the Dragonborn were seen not just as rulers, but as protectors, imbued with divine authority to safeguard the realm. But prophecies are not always kind to those who bear their weight. The last Dragonborn's rise, as foretold by the ancient texts, came at a time when the world stood on the precipice of ruin. The dragons, long thought extinct, had returned, led by Alduin. Yet it was not just Alduin the last Dragonborn had to face, but the enormity of their own fate. As Paarthurnax once said, "What is better, to be born good, or to overcome your evil nature through great effort?" This question loomed large over the last Dragonborn, as it does for all those who are touched by prophecy. In the end, the Dragonborn's journey is one shaped by forces beyond their control, yet also one of immense personal choice. Their role in prophecy, while outlined by the stars, remains deeply intertwined with their own decisions, their actions echoing across time. It is this delicate balance between fate and free will that makes the Dragonborn a figure of such enduring significance throughout Tamriel. Saint Alessia emerged as a figure of profound significance, heralding the dawn of the First Empire. Her ascent to the status of Dragonborn is an intricate tale of rebellion, divine covenant, and the establishment of a legacy that would shape the fate of an entire continent. Alessia's story began amidst the tumultuous period of the Aeliid oppression. As a slave under the rule of the Aelids, she endured unimaginable hardship. Yet, it was this very suffering that ignited her resolve to defy the Aeliid overlords. In the year 242 of the First Era, with unwavering determination, she spearheaded a revolt that would eventually topple the Aeliid dominion. This rebellion was not merely a struggle for freedom, but also a profound transformation that would elevate Alessia from a mere mortal to a beacon of hope. The pivotal moment in Alessia's transformation came with her covenant with Akatosh, the dragon god of time. According to ancient accounts, Alessia, known then as the Slave Queen, beseeched Akatosh for aid in her battle against the Aelids. In response, Akatosh granted her the power of the dragon blood, thus marking her as a dragonborn. This divine intervention was more than a mere blessing. It was a monumental shift in the balance of power. Through this covenant, Alessia received not only the strength to lead her people, but also the responsibility to establish a new order in Tamriel. Following her divine blessing, Alessia's role extended beyond mere leadership. She laid the foundation for what would become the First Empire of Cyrodiil. Her vision was not just of conquest, but of unification and restoration. To secure her newfound power and the stability of her empire, Alessia established the Dragonfires, a sacred and mystical barrier that would safeguard her lineage and the empire from the influence of dark forces. The Dragonfires were not merely a symbol of her covenant with Akatosh, but a practical safeguard against any who might seek to disrupt the balance she had fought so hard to achieve. Alessia's empire, built on the principles of unity and divine favor, endured long after her death. Her legacy was enshrined not just in the annals of history, but also in the institutions she founded. The Dragonborn emperors that followed were bound by the covenant Alessia had forged. They were seen as her direct heirs, wielding the power of the dragon blood and continuing her vision of a unified Tamriel. This lineage, though ultimately challenged and transformed over the centuries, remained a testament to Alessia's enduring impact on Tamriel's political and spiritual landscape. Thus, Saint Alessia's ascension as Dragonborn was not merely a personal transformation, but a foundational moment in Tamrielic history. Her rebellion, covenant with Akatosh, and establishment of the Dragonfires laid the groundwork for an empire that would shape the destiny of countless generations. Her story remains a powerful reminder of the divine intervention and human will that forged the very fabric of Tamriel. Through my exhaustive studies, I have managed to discover an ancient scroll detailing the plight of one of the followers of Alessia. It is as follows, to quote, "I remember the first time I saw the sun rise over Sancretor. It was a thing of beauty, something I'd never thought I'd live to witness. But back then, in the days before the rebellion, the only thing I truly feared was the dark of the Aeliad dungeons, the dark of their eyes as they watched us. The sun didn't seem like it belonged to us, not while we were bound in chains and forced to serve those ancient elven overlords. I'd forgotten what it was like to feel free. I was young when I was captured, no more than a boy. My village had been burnt to the ground in a raid. My mother, my father, they were all taken. The Aelids didn't care who we were, they only cared for what we could give them. We were cattle, and they were the masters. I remember the stench of the slaves, the shouts, the cruelty. Everything about that time clung to me like the sweat on my back. We were kept in their terrible city, the grand one they called the White Gold Tower. I was no longer a boy by then, not really. The Aelids had seen to that. The screams of those who had previously resisted still haunted me in the silence of the night. I had been broken, reshaped into something far darker than I ever wished to be. But then, there was Alessia. I didn't know who she was at first. They said she was one of us, one of the slaves, but her heart burned like fire. She talked of hope, of freedom, of a time when the Aelids would fall and we would stand tall again. We didn't believe her, not at first. What chance did we have against their magic, their armies? But she was persuasive. She had something we didn't, a promise. A promise that with the right kind of will, the gods themselves might see us free. One night, she gathered a handful of us together. It was a quiet thing at first, just whispers in the dark, but it grew louder. We were going to rise up. We were going to fight, no matter the cost. I remember the night of the revolt like it was yesterday. The moon was dark, hiding behind a veil of clouds, as if it knew what would come. We spilled out from the shadows, blood rushing in our veins, our fear transformed into fury. Alessia led us to the heart of the Ayleid's power. She was a woman possessed, a thing of such determination that I swore the gods themselves had put their hands on her shoulders. The Ayleids never knew what hit them. The streets ran red that night, and when it was done, we stood there, triumphant but broken. The city burned around us, but we stood tall, proud. Alessia spoke of the sun then, the dawn of a new age. "This is your freedom," she said, her voice carrying over the ruined city. "This is the dawn of humanity." But the dawn was not kind. It was not the gentle thing I had once imagined it to be. It was harsh, searing, and we had paid for it with blood. The Ayleids fell, their city crumbling, but we were left to rebuild in the ashes of our victory. I stood there, watching Sancre-Tor rise in the distance, a symbol of what we had become. I was no longer the boy I had been, nor the broken slave I once was. The pain of those years lingered, but there was a fire in me now, something new. Alessia had given us hope, and in doing so, she had made us something else, something we had never been before. Free. But even as we stood there, victorious, I knew that the world we had taken was one full of new darkness. The Ayleids were gone, but their mark on us remained. Our victory had been a victory of necessity, and the price of it was not just blood, but the part of us that had been human. I looked at the fire burning in the distance and realized, in the end, we were all shaped by the darkness, even the brightest of us. End quote. The story, as previously read, is very likely fictionalized, as the Alessian campaigns were drawn out over a period of years. However, it does succinctly capture the spirit of the revolt. Moving on, Raymond Cyrodiil, the founder of the Second Empire, was more than a mere mortal ruler. He was yet another Dragonborn whose destiny was intertwined with the fate of Tamriel. His rise to prominence marked a pivotal moment in the history of the Empire and the legacy of the Dragonborn. Raymond Cyrodiil's ascent began in the aftermath of the Akaviri invasion, a time when Tamriel stood on the brink of fragmentation. As the Dragonborn, Raymond was not only a figure of military prowess, but also a symbol of divine intervention. His connection to the Dragonfires, however, is what solidified his claim to the throne and his role in the destiny of Tamriel. The lighting of the Dragonfires under Raymond's reign was not a mere ceremonial act, but a crucial element in the stability of the Empire. The Dragonfires were said to ward off the forces of oblivion, ensuring that the plains of Tamriel remained shielded from demonic invasions. Raymond's ability to light these sacred flames signified his legitimacy and the divine favor bestowed upon him. The protection afforded by the Dragonfires was critical in an era marked by internal strife and external threats. Raymond's reign saw the consolidation of power and the stabilization of the Empire. His leadership ensured that the Empire remained a bastion of order amidst a world rife with chaos. Tiber Septim, also known as Talos, remains one of the most legendary figures in Tamriel's history, embodying the very essence of a Dragonborn. His story is not just one of personal achievement, but also one of profound transformation, marking him as the ultimate Dragonborn. Tiber Septim's rise began as Hjalti Earlybeard, a humble figure of Nord origin who ascended from obscurity to become one of Tamriel's most revered leaders. His journey to power was nothing short of extraordinary. Early in his life, he united the fractured holds of Skyrim under his banner, harnessing both charisma and formidable combat prowess. His ascent continued as he expanded his influence beyond Skyrim, leading to the conquest of Cyrodiil and the establishment of the Third Empire. This unification of Tamriel was a monumental achievement, one that reshaped the political landscape of the continent. Tiber's transformation into the Emperor was not merely a matter of political maneuvering. As a Dragonborn, he possessed an innate connection to the divine powers of Akatosh, the dragon god of time. His mastery of the Thu'um, the powerful dragon voice, was a defining characteristic. The Thu'um, an ancient and formidable form of magic, allowed Tiber to wield the voice in battle, unleashing shouts that could alter the course of combat. His ability to channel this power was legendary, marking him as a figure of both divine favor and extraordinary capability. The Dragonborn's role in Tiber's life was more than symbolic. It was a crucial aspect of his identity and authority. His command over the Thu'um, combined with his strategic genius, enabled him to secure his empire's dominance. It was said that his voice could bend the very fabric of reality, a testament to his profound connection with the divine. Tiber's influence extended beyond his mortal life. His ascension into godhood, becoming Talos, was a transformation that immortalized his legacy. After his death, he was deified and incorporated into the pantheon of the nine divines as the god of war and governance. Talos represented more than just a figure of worship. He embodied the ideals of strength, leadership, and the unifying power of the Dragonborn. This elevation to godhood was not merely a continuation of his influence, but a redefinition of it, as Talos became a symbol of both divine and mortal power. The divine status of Talos had profound implications for the Dragonborn legacy. As Talos, he was revered not only as a historical figure, but also as a living testament to the potential of the Dragonborn. His life and achievements set a benchmark for what it meant to be Dragonborn, influencing subsequent generations and shaping the very nature of Tamriel's political and spiritual landscape. Martin Septim, the last of the Septim bloodline, marked a pivotal and tragic chapter in the saga of the Dragonborn. His story is as much a tale of heroic sacrifice as it is a somber end to a revered dynasty. Martin Septim was the son of Uriel Septim VII, the last true Dragonborn emperor. As the heir to the Septim throne, Martin's destiny seemed to be one of political and dynastic continuity. However, fate had other plans. The Oblivion Crisis, a cataclysmic event heralded by the opening of the gates to the hellish plane of Oblivion, thrust Martin into an unforeseen role of savior. The crisis began when Mehrunes Dagon, the Daedric Prince of Destruction, sought to invade Tamriel and plunge it into chaos. The Empire, without its emperor, and thus without the protection of the Amulet of Kings, faced imminent collapse. The amulet was crucial as it bound the dragonfires in the Temple of the One, a divine ward against the forces of Oblivion. Without it, Tamriel was left vulnerable. Martin's initial role was far from heroic. He was a scholar and a priest, hiding from the dangers that loomed over the Empire. Yet, when the threat became unavoidable, Martin was reluctantly drawn into the fray. The true gravity of his role was revealed when it was discovered that he was the last surviving heir of the Septim bloodline, and thus the last person who could legitimately wear the Amulet of Kings. Upon realizing his destiny, Martin took up the mantle of leadership. His journey was marked by both personal and epic challenges. Despite the enormity of the task, he demonstrated remarkable resilience and bravery. As the gates of Oblivion continued to spew forth horrors, Martin's role in the struggle against Dagon intensified. The ultimate act of his heroism came during the climactic battle at the Temple of the One. In a desperate bid to end the crisis, Martin sacrificed himself to summon the power of Akatosh. This was not a simple or safe endeavor. Martin used the Amulet of Kings to merge with the divine essence of Akatosh, transforming himself into a being of pure dragonfire. The result was a cataclysmic confrontation with Mehrunes Dagon. Martin's sacrifice destroyed the Daedric Prince and closed the Oblivion Gates, but it also meant the end of the Septim dynasty. As he merged with Akatosh, the Amulet of Kings was lost, and the divine protection of the Dragonfires was forever extinguished. The implications of Martin's sacrifice were profound. The Septim bloodline, a lineage that had been integral to the stability of Tamriel for centuries, came to an abrupt end. The Empire was left in disarray, its traditional defenses shattered. The power vacuum left by Martin's death contributed to the rise of new political factions and unrest, significantly altering the political landscape of Tamriel. To be sure, Martin Septim's sacrifice was both a grand act of valor and a poignant end to an era. His heroism ensured the survival of Tamriel in the face of overwhelming darkness, but it also marked the conclusion of an epoch defined by the Dragonborn emperors. The legacy of the Septim dynasty, once a pillar of strength, was irrevocably changed, leaving a lingering impact on the history and future of Tamriel. Miraak, the so-called first Dragonborn, was once a revered figure among the dragons of Tamriel. His story is one of extraordinary power, treachery, and a dramatic fall from grace. Miraak's rise as Dragonborn began in an era when dragons were not only revered, but also served as rulers over the mortal realm. He marked himself as Dragonborn, bestowed with the rare gift of the Thuum, which allowed him to harness the power of the dragon language. In his early days, Miraak was a key figure in the dragon cult, a faction of mortals who worshipped dragons and served them as priests and enforcers. His abilities with the Thuum made him a formidable force, and his leadership within the dragon cult was pivotal in their dominance over the Nords. Miraak's influence and power seemed boundless as he wielded his Thuum to control both dragons and men. However, Miraak's story took a dark turn as he became increasingly disillusioned with his role and the limitations imposed upon him by the dragons. His ambitions stretched beyond the mortal plane, leading him to seek greater power and autonomy. Miraak began to harbor thoughts of rebellion against his draconic overlords. He sought to break free from their control and forge his own path, which set him on a collision course with the very beings that had once exalted him. The turning point in Miraak's saga came when he made a pact with Hermaeus Mora, the Daedric prince of knowledge and memory. Hermaeus Mora offered Miraak the power and freedom he craved in exchange for his loyalty. Miraak's choice to align with a Daedric prince marked his betrayal of the dragons. By embracing this dark path, he not only defied his former masters, but also shifted the balance of power in Tamriel. Miraak's rebellion was catastrophic. He succeeded in overthrowing the dragons and seizing power for himself, but his actions led to his downfall. As punishment for his treachery, he was exiled to Apocrypha, Hermaeus Mora's realm of forbidden knowledge. In Apocrypha, Miraak was imprisoned within the endless, shifting library, cut off from the world he once ruled. The exile of Miraak to Apocrypha had far-reaching consequences. Though he was banished from Tamriel, his influence did not entirely vanish. He became a figure of legend, his name spoken in hushed tones among scholars and adventurers alike. The knowledge he acquired in Apocrypha, coupled with his lingering resentment, fueled his desire for vengeance against those who had taken everything from him. Centuries later, Miraak's story came full circle when he returned to Tamriel, driven by his desire to reclaim his lost power. His return was marked by a series of events that disturbed the balance of Tamriel once more. The true Dragonborn of the Fourth Era, the hero of Skyrim, was forced to confront Miraak, whose ambitions threatened to unleash chaos upon the land. In the end, Miraak's return was a dramatic reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the perils of aligning with Daedric forces. His fall from grace served as a stark contrast to the noble ideals associated with the Dragonborn. To a certainty, the last Dragonborn stands as a figure of both legend and destiny. Prophecies whispered of this hero long before their rise, heralding a time when the Dragonborn would return to combat the ultimate threat to the world, Alduin, the World Eater. The prophecy surrounding the last Dragonborn was rooted deeply in the ancient texts and oral traditions of the Nords. This foretold savior was said to appear in a time of dire need, with the power to vanquish Alduin, who was prophesied to return to fulfill his role in the end times. This prophecy was part of a larger narrative that intertwined the fate of Tamriel with the dragons and their ancient conflicts. The emergence of the last Dragonborn was marked by a series of extraordinary events. This individual, an unknown prisoner in the cold, harsh land of Skyrim, would soon reveal themselves as the Chosen One. Their journey began with a series of encounters with dragons, initially seemingly mere coincidences, but soon proving to be a crucial part of their destiny. As the last Dragonborn harnessed their Thuum, the ancient dragon shouts, they began to master powers that had long been lost to time. The battle against Alduin was nothing short of monumental. Alduin, having returned to fulfill his role as the harbinger of the end times, posed a threat that could have obliterated all of Tamriel. The last Dragonborn's confrontation with Alduin was not merely a physical battle, but also a clash of monumental significance, shaping the future of the world. The defeat of Alduin by the last Dragonborn not only averted the apocalypse, but also established their place in Tamriel's history as a true hero. The legacy of the last Dragonborn extended beyond their victory over Alduin. Their deeds were celebrated across Skyrim and beyond, their story becoming one of the most enduring legends of the Fourth Era. As for the future, the fate of the last Dragonborn remains a subject of speculation and hope. Their actions had significant implications for the balance of power in Tamriel, and their legacy continues to be a source of inspiration and reverence. The true extent of their impact, and whether they would ever return to face new challenges, remains a tantalizing mystery for scholars and enthusiasts alike. Wulfharth, also known as Ysmir, occupies a significant place in the annals of Tamriel's history, embodying the very essence of Nordic heroism and the potent legacy of the Dragonborn. His story is a fascinating tale of valor, mysticism, and the cyclical nature of his existence. Born in the mid-First Era, Wulfharth was a formidable warrior known for his unparalleled mastery of the Thuum, or dragon shouting. His use of the voice was legendary, weaving the raw power of the ancient Nords' mystical art into his battle prowess. This connection to the Thuum was not merely a matter of skill, it was a divine endowment, marking him as a Dragonborn in the truest sense. Wulfharth's might in combat, bolstered by his ability to command the very language of dragons, made him a figure of immense reverence and awe among his people. His legend is intertwined with Nordic lore, particularly as Ysmir, the Ash King. In this role, Wulfharth was seen as a protector of Skyrim and its people, leading them through critical moments in their history. His influence extended beyond mere mortal prowess. He was considered a living embodiment of the Nordic spirit and strength. This divine association, combined with his use of the Thuum, solidified his status as a Dragonborn, an individual blessed by the gods with extraordinary power and purpose. Wulfharth's narrative, however, did not end with his death. His tale is marked by a remarkable aspect of Nordic belief, the concept of rebirth and recurring heroism. Wulfharth was not merely a singular figure, but a recurring force, resurrected throughout history to defend Skyrim from existential threats. His return was often seen as a necessary intervention during critical periods of upheaval and conflict, underscoring the belief in his eternal role as a savior and warrior for the people of Skyrim. Throughout these various lives, Wulfharth's reappearances were always timely, aligning with the needs of his people. Each return was not just a revival of a hero, but a reminder of the enduring presence of the Dragonborn in Nordic mythology. These cyclical resurrections symbolize the constant protection of Skyrim and the god's ongoing favor towards its people. In the broader context of Tamriel's history, Wulfharth's role as a Dragonborn resonates with the themes of divine intervention and cyclical destiny that characterize the Dragonborn's legacy. His story exemplifies how Dragonborn are more than just individuals with extraordinary powers. They are integral to the fabric of Tamriel's fate, repeatedly called upon to shape the course of history. I would be remiss if I did not make note of the great savior of humanity, Pellinal Whitestrake. Pellinal is a figure wrapped in both reverence and enigma. His role in the Alessian rebellion and the divine whispers surrounding his legacy remain subjects of profound speculation. Pellinal Whitestrake emerged during the Alessian rebellion, a period marked by brutal conflict between the enslaved Alessians and their Aeliad oppressors. Known for his formidable prowess in battle and unyielding spirit, Pellinal led the Alessians to victory, earning his place in the annals of heroism. His deeds were instrumental in toppling the Aeliad rulers and laying the foundations for the first empire of men, founded by Alessia. Pellinal's connection to Alessia and his reputed divine favor are subjects of much intrigue. Alessia, the founder of the First Empire, was believed to have been blessed by Akatosh, and Pellinal's association with her suggests a similar divine favor. Accounts from the time, albeit often steeped in legend, paint Pellinal as a figure of extraordinary ability, possibly endowed with powers akin to those of the Dragonborn. His exceptional combat skills and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds have led many to speculate that he was in fact a Dragonborn, or at least possessed some divine essence akin to that of Dragonborn. Theories surrounding Pellinal's divine nature are bolstered by his perceived connection to Akatosh. Pellinal's extraordinary strength and his supposed ability to channel divine power have led some scholars to draw parallels between him and the Dragonborn of legend. His role in the Alessian rebellion, combined with his exceptional feats and divine favor, fuels speculation that he may have been a Dragonborn, though there is no concrete evidence to confirm this. The question of Pellinal's true nature remains debated among scholars and historians. Some argue that his heroism and divine favor could be attributed to myth rather than reality, a reflection of the larger-than-life status often ascribed to legendary figures. Others maintain that the extraordinary nature of his achievements and his role in establishing the First Empire suggest a divine connection that aligns closely with the Dragonborn's attributes. Dragons, once the supreme rulers of Tamriel, have always been entwined with the fate of the Dragonborn. Their presence and actions are central to understanding the true nature of those marked by the dragon blood. The ancient dragon war, an epical clash between dragons and mortals, epitomizes this intricate relationship. Dragons, powerful and ancient beings, once dominated the lands, their reign marked by terror and awe. However, as mortals grew in strength and unity, they began to challenge the draconic supremacy. This war, fierce and unforgiving, was not merely a struggle for power, but a battle for survival and sovereignty. The dragon's ability to manipulate the Thuum, the voice, made them formidable adversaries, but the determination of the Nords, particularly their legendary heroes, turned the tide. The conflict reshaped Tamriel, with dragons eventually being driven into near extinction, their role in the mortal world reduced to mere legend. Paarthurnax, the wise and ancient dragon who chose a path of enlightenment rather than conquest, played a pivotal role in shaping the destinies of the Dragonborn. Once a fierce dragon under Alduin's command, Paarthurnax later sought redemption by aiding the Nords in their struggle against his own kind. His choice to become a mentor to the Dragonborn demonstrates the complex and sometimes contradictory nature of dragons. Parthenax's guidance, rooted in wisdom and a deep understanding of the Thu'um, was crucial for the Dragonborn. His teachings provided not only the knowledge of the Thu'um, but also the moral framework necessary to wield such power responsibly. Through Parthenax, the Dragonborn gained insight into the ancient arts of the voice and the true nature of their powers, which were essential in their battle against Alduin. The mastery of the Thu'um, the ancient and formidable art of shouting, is a defining characteristic of the Dragonborn. For those chosen by destiny, learning the voice is both a profound and challenging journey. The process of learning the Thu'um begins with understanding its origin. The Thu'um, or dragon shouts, are deeply rooted in the ancient Nordic traditions, and their power derives from the dragon language, a mystical tongue known for its strength and complexity. When a Dragonborn first encounters the Thu'um, they must grasp not just the language, but also its deep, primordial power. This journey is not simply about mastering the words, it is about aligning one's will with the raw force of the universe. Training in the Thu'um is a rigorous process, often beginning with the most basic of shouts. These initial lessons involve learning the simplest shouts, such as Fus, Ro, and Da, which together form the fundamental components of the Dragonborn's arsenal. Each shout requires precise pronunciation and control, as even the slightest deviation can lead to unintended consequences. For instance, a mispronounced Fus could result in an uncontrolled burst of energy, affecting both the user and those around them. The process of learning the voice is intrinsically tied to the Dragonborn's ability to channel their inner power. This often involves intense meditation and self-discipline. The Dragonborn must harmonize their spirit with the ancient forces of Tamriel to harness the Thu'um effectively. Such training is not just physical, it is deeply spiritual, requiring the Dragonborn to confront their deepest fears and desires to master the voice. Once a Dragonborn has achieved a basic understanding of the Thu'um, they often seek out the Greybeards, the revered masters of the Thu'um who reside atop the throat of the world. The Greybeards, led by the enigmatic Parthenax, are instrumental in refining a Dragonborn's skills. They offer guidance, not just in the technical aspects of shouting, but in the philosophical and ethical implications of wielding such power. The Greybeards believe that true mastery of the Thu'um involves not only controlling the voice, but also understanding its place within the broader context of the world. The relationship between the Greybeards and the Dragonborn is one of both mentorship and guardianship. The Greybeards impart ancient wisdom and techniques, helping the Dragonborn to unlock and refine their potential. They also emphasize the importance of restraint and responsibility, as the power of the Thu'um can easily be abused. Under their tutelage, the Dragonborn learns to balance the immense power of shouting with the need for humility and ethical consideration. The ancient Nords, who were the original practitioners of the Thu'um, are also a vital part of this lore. These early Nords wielded the Thu'um in its most raw and primal form, using it to shape the world around them and battle against the dragons. Their mastery of the Thu'um was not merely a matter of skill, but also of deep cultural significance. They viewed shouting as a sacred art, intertwined with their beliefs and rituals. The ancient Nords' use of the Thu'um was a manifestation of their connection to the divine and their understanding of the natural order. In studying the ancient Nords, modern Dragonborn gain insight into the historical and cultural context of their powers. The reverence with which the ancient Nords treated the Thu'um provides a backdrop against which contemporary Dragonborn can measure their own progress and approach to this ancient art. Understanding the historical depth of the Thu'um enriches the Dragonborn's appreciation of their abilities and the responsibility that comes with them. As we draw this journey to a close, dear Acolyte, we leave behind the echoes of the Dragonborn's might, but their legacy will forever endure. Few bloodlines have carried such profound importance, each Dragonborn standing apart as more than mere mortals. They were chosen by the divine, their voices resonating with the power of the Thu'um, and their souls uniquely bound to the will of Akatosh. The Dragonborn are not simply warriors or rulers. They are living symbols of Tamriel's most sacred covenants, defenders of an ancient destiny written in the skies themselves. No other bloodline has borne such a weight, nor wielded such untold power. Their path, from the rise of Alessia to the triumphs and trials of the last Dragonborn, is a testament to the divine hand guiding Tamriel's fate. As you continue your own quest for knowledge, may the stories of these champions remind you of the ancient power that forever shapes the world. Until we meet again, may the essence of the Dragonborn linger in your thoughts, their legacy ever present in the history of Nirn.